review for the Wrinkle in Time movie.
That came out this
2018.
2018. I thought it was 2017. Okay.
Was it?
I don't know.
No, it officially came out in 2018 on March 7th?
I think so.
I think it was the 7th.
Well, so in this video, or review, we'll be talking about the similarities, differences, and our overall view of what we thought about the movie.
We can start with similarities because that's a way shorter list.
A total count of 2 similarities.
There's, in the similarities column,
we have in the book, in the first movie, and in the second movie that came out in 2017, they all have the same characters.
They do. There's Meg, Charles Wallace,
Calvin.
and then the 3 What's-Its, Mr. Murray,
Miss
Murray. There's no Sandy or Denny's.
Yeah, they don't have Sandy or Denny's, which is sad. They have the happy medium, though. That's good.
They do.
But they don't have the Aunt Beast people, which made me very upset because I wanted to see what they did with that, but they didn't.
The whole planet with the Beast people and Aunt Beast was completely cut out of the movie, which made
stupid.
it made me mad.
The second similarity,
it's in the same
it's
storyline.
within the same concept.
Yeah. The column that Mr. Murray was in was completely different in the new movie.
Because in the book it described it as when Meg put on the glasses, she could like go through the column thing. But in the movie, this 2018,
Meg could put on the glasses and then she would see like the staircase up to the door, and then that's where he was. And it wasn't even a column. It was
like a
big
weird
tunnel
hallway
that was changing colors.
Yeah. So the brain that was described in the book, yes, the book, like we imagined it as like a brain from reading the book, but in the movie,
it was more like tubes,
like a weird system of weird
tubes.
Yeah.
Also in the movie, like where the Aunt Beast should be, where that part of the story should be, they were inside of it, and like you could see all the neurons, and they were fighting on them. Charles Wallace and Meg were fighting on them.
Yeah. It was weird.
Instead of like Charles Wallace just snapping out of it, they made him look like he was cracking and glowing.
Yeah.
That was weird.
That was strange. Also, Charles Wallace in the movie seemed a lot more normal than like psychically insane in the book.
He was a lot less creepy.
Yeah.
And in the beginning when he was boiling milk for
the hot chocolate,
they made him look like he's done it a million times before, and in the old movie and in the book it looked more natural. They didn't
really emphasize the point that Charles Wallace like had like a psychic connection with Meg and like knew that she was gonna come down and have the chocolate milk or whatever. But like in the book they were like, "Ooh, Charles Wallace knows this. Oh my god."
And in the old movie, he was, like, reading, and he had words of the day.
Yeah, and he was a lot more, like, creepy than in the movie, which I didn't like as much. So the next thing that was different was when the man with the red eyes, when they were, like, eating food at the table, in the movie they did a weird thing.
Yeah, they made the scene change a bunch of times, and then they were at the beach, and they were having a picnic.
And they were, like, jumping all through the people's umbrella, and it was weird. And then they were, like, eating food on the beach instead of, like...
Also...
It's weird.
The man with the red eyes was, like, a puppet.
He had, like, a derpy mustache, too. It was fun.
No, he was being controlled like a marionette. He fell apart at the end.
Oh, yeah.
And then Charles Wallace was, like, the new man with the red eyes.
It was an interesting concept, but it wasn't the same as the book, which was kind of upsetting. The next thing was on Uriel... I think that's what the planet's called, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Miss What's-It, instead of turning into, like, the horse...
Like, magical... Like,
the Pegasus. Instead of, like, the Pegasus thing, she turned into...
like, imagined.
A weird...
Like, vegetable.
Yeah, she looked like...
She looked like she was, like, a leaf dragon. I don't know. It was really, really strange. It was kind of scary. And then also, on Uriel... when the kids were riding on the Miss What's-It leaf lady, Calvin fell off, which was kind of useless. He just fell off her for no reason.
In that scene with Miss What's-It being a big lettuce leaf, they didn't have the breathing flowers, like the little bell flowers that would keep growing. It was, they just went up and looked at the black thing.
Didn't really seem very, very significant. One thing that was similar, though, well, back to similarities, the happy medium was kind of like what I expected, but like it was also kind of strange at the same time because it was like a weird way of
Kind of
conveying
crazy.
it. Yeah, he seemed insane, where in the book he seemed more like just a psychic.
He talked a lot about balance, and they were in like this crystal room instead of like the place that I imagined. It was like in a cave.
Yeah, like a cave cavern thing. In the book, it described it as like a cave, like secluded from the rest of everything else. But in the movie, it was like a big open, like crystal, like castle thing.
When they got to Camazotz, there was the storm.
Do you remember in the first movie they had like a weird sandstorm?
Yeah, in the first movie there was a sandstorm, and
which never happened in the book.
No.
And then in this new movie, they had like a weird storm where like trees are flying everywhere.
It looked like a tornado.
Yeah.
But it would take stuff in and then shoot it over a wall into like the Camazotz city. We just keep talking over each other.
And then like Calvin and Meg.
It went inside a tree trunk.
Yeah.
Like an empty dead one, and they got pulled up into the storm and then thrown over the wall.
They probably should have died, but they didn't.
Miss Whatsit was way more crazy and
yeah, she was a lot more like immature or like not as matured.
It was way more obvious that she was new to the group.
Yeah.
Instead of different, which I think they could have improved.
Back to the beginning of the story. Do you know how in the book Meg and Charles Wallace met Calvin when they went into the woods to go see like the house or whatever? In the movie, they had Meg and Charles Wallace just meet Calvin like on the street, and it made no sense whatsoever. They kind of made Calvin like useless. He didn't really have a big role.
Yeah, he didn't have significant parts. He was just kind of there along for the ride. The bully was a way bigger part of the story. And like it showed her being mean, and then Meg threw a ball at her teeth or something. That was nice.
So now for our final overview of what we thought about the movie.
There's a lot to improve.
Yeah. The trailers made it seem a lot better than it really was, like, in the actual theater.
Yeah.
Like, they took all the good parts of it and made it into the trailer, and then the rest of the movie was just kind of eh. So I think that's pretty much it. Overall, it was a good movie, but it was not very much.
I'd recommend it, but it's not.
Don't expect it to be like the book.
Yeah. That's a lot of movies. You can't expect it to be like the book, because
the first movie was pretty close to the book.
It was closer, but there was still things that were off.
You can't make everything exactly like the book, because books can use words that movies can't really convey. But overall, it was a good movie. It was like a different way
like
of
an
looking at it.
off-brand.
Yeah.
It's the one you'd find at the Dollar Tree instead of Walmart.
Yeah.
If you love me, let me go.